Hi guys, welcome back to Art Starters. So this is part 2 of the collage project. And in part 1, what we had completed doing was we had gotten a photograph, we had printed it, and we had transferred it with the transfer paper. And there are 2 ways to do this project. You can continue with this and just begin with your cutout pieces of product. Like for example, I've gone through and I've cut lots of feathers because that is going to be my theme, is feathers and birds. And I have all kinds of stuff that I have kind of cut out and already ready to go. There's another way that you can do this as well. You could also choose to cut out your image if it is easier for you to create on top of that. So for this particular project, that is how I am going to plan on doing it, is I am going to work directly on top of my picture of myself. And so what I have to do is kind of find an area. The reason that I want to do this is because I think I want to move where originally I had my image here. I've decided to do some feathering on the back of the hair, you know, because I'm doing a feather and bird and flower theme because I love birds and feathers. And so anyway, I am going to probably glue my picture down about right here. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is after you have cut, use your scissors to cut all of your pieces and your parts out. You're just going to kind of work with it. I'm using just plain old Elmer's glue on a piece of paper. You know, you kind of have to get your hands dirty here. But I am very lightly going to begin by tacking my image down. And there's a reason why I'm not just dumping all of this onto my paper at once, because I don't want it to warp. And you know what I'm talking about, any of you guys who've ever made cards or anything else, when you put glue onto a surface and you put too much, it makes a huge mess. And I know when you were probably in elementary school, your art teacher was like, a dab will do. More than a dab is too much glue. And that is true with anything you do with glue. Now, ultimately, it would be better if I had what you call Mod Podge, but Mod Podge is in my other art room, which is on the other side of the school. So I'm just making do with glue because basically Elmer's works just fine. Alright, so I am going to start by adhering this to my paper. And again, I think I'm doing it about right here. And I'm going to start by just kind of flattening it out. And then this gives me a nice little template in which to work. Alright, so I left some area so that I could go back into the edges, because what I'm going to do now with the edge of my face is I want to just go in and add a buffer of black behind it. And this is so that, honestly, I will have a nice little separation from the background, whatever I decide to put down. I want to make sure that you can see my profile, because ultimately the whole goal of this project is to make this look like yourself. So you got to kind of work it before it gets too dry. Oh, get my nose back up there. I think I ripped my nose. Yay! Sometimes it means like that. So maybe my nose is not going to give me what to come off of plate at all. Okay, yay. Alright, so I'm going to do the best I can with that. Right here. Go right up to the edge. And again, I'm going to work it. And I'm trying to do this. Ultimately, you want to try to do it before it gets real dry. And you know, as you saw a moment ago, I was having some problems getting my nose untacked from the paper, and we'll try one more time, and then I'm going to give up. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Just want to get a little bit of it up. Alright. This is what you call monitoring and adjusting. When it comes to art, sometimes you just gotta do it like that. There you go. And I'm just gluing it around the edge. Now the reason again that I'm doing this is so I have a nice black area around my profile. So I'm just going to continue working that and putting a little bit of glue on it as I go. Make sure I can get my nice double chin in there. And glue down on top of it because whatever I do is going to go right into that. Alright. And I'm just going to slide the rest of this very quickly underneath. Now once you get this done, now you're ready to really begin with your creation. And ultimately, you're just working along and along, making sure everything's kind of tacked down. And just a little bit more here, and I'm ready to roll. So a collage is any type of torn paper. It can be from magazines, newspapers. You can incorporate words in there if you'd like to. Don't necessarily have to, but can. All right, and it's one of those things that you build along and along. So the next thing you would do is begin by building things up. Excuse me just one moment. Ladies, I'm recording and you're ruining my recording. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So then you would actually start by building and putting things on top. And I have some nice feathers and other things I would add to build. You also want to work on your background. Whatever you choose for your background, try to make it simple and try to make it a different color theme than your image that you're working on so far. So once you get the black outline around, and I'm not going to continue with that because I think you understand, from there you would go in and begin working. For example, I'm thinking I might want to put this tree somewhere into this mix. So I might want to kind of make sure that I'm leaving this open and not quite tacked far down yet. So I can get back into it and work. I kind of felt like it would be neat if I had like a tree kind of like coming out of the top of my head. Be creative here. So I think I might do that. So I'm going to leave this kind of open for a moment and I'm going to begin to work on my background now. So I'm thinking for my background it's going to be fairly simple. There was a pattern that I was going to use that was birds. So I think this is kind of a nice, simple background. And I'm probably going to do more with this, but I'm going to begin by putting pieces of this down. Alright. So I'm going to do this quickly to show you guys, and then I'm going to sign off and let you work, because ultimately it's about you getting started and me just explaining how it's going to work. Okay. And I don't want to just paste the whole thing down, even though there's a lot of it. I want to turn it and tear it so that it looks cool and different. And I'm careful that I'm going to leave a little bit of this black space here. And if it wrinkles, that kind of makes it cool around the edge of my head as I'm working. And I would build that up. Continue to tear it as I go. And maybe I'll do in that direction next. And ultimately, without taking too much of your time, you just kind of build it slowly. And once I get this background on, then I can go back in and I can put my tree down. See how that's going to look on top of it. See if it stays or if it gets lost. and work from there. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand the whole process of the collage, and I think this will be an awesome, fun project. So thanks for watching Art Starters. I hope you guys have a great time doing this, and happy drawing.